Hi everyone, welcome to the Jefferson Community and Technical College Pharmacy Tech Lab. This is where we're going to do all of our processing of retail prescriptions. So come on over and I'll let you in. Hello. So the first thing to know about working in this lab is how the medications are organized. So in a retail pharmacy, a lot of times the medications are alpha generically, which means the brand name would be on the shelf and the generic would be right next to it. But since we're learning, I wanted to make things a little easier, and everything is by the generic name. So if you're looking for Ambien, and the generic for Ambien is Zolpidem. So it's going to be all the way over there. We're going to start with A here. Abacavir is our first drug over here, and the brand name is Trizavir. So it's under the generic. So you do need to either have your phone on you, or we do have some little booklets back here that'll help you if you need to know the brand to generic. See if I can find one. And of course, when I want one, there isn't one. But we'll find some, and we'll have some back here for you. So as you're putting in prescriptions and you're trying to locate them, it could be either brand or generic. So everybody will be given a different set of prescriptions. We'll just use this one. And so you'll come over, and there's a separate there'll be a separate tutorial for this software, but you'll come over and you'll put your prescription in. When you have your prescription into the computer, you'll print out your labels here, and then we'll actually go find our drug. So remember, A starts over there, Z ends up over here. All of our medications are actually beans. So, you know, if we run low, if a bottle runs empty because you're filling it, we can refill it with the beans. This side is all for compounding. So we won't really worry about that until the later half of the semester. And this will be where most of our compounding medications are. And then here is our safe. So control drugs, control 2 drugs, and you'll learn what those are put in a safe and are kept locked up. These are medications like morphine, codeine, Dilaudid. And again, this is all placebo. We don't have the real drugs here in the lab. Here we have our references. So if you really want to look up a particular medication and find more about it, all that's right here. So if we've located our drug, we've come back. The next thing we're going to do is count the medication out. So let me grab a bottle. Okay, so here's an example of how we would do that. You guess about how many pills you think you'll need. Let's put some on there. And then we're going to count by 5s. Well, that didn't work too well. 5, 10, 15, and so on. And then when you get finished, you can put the excess back in the bottle. And we do have right and left-handed trays. And then you get to pick which bottle you want to put it in. We always want to use the smallest bottle we can, and most prescriptions will fit in this particular bottle. This is a 13 dram bottle, you can see on the bottom. But if you do need a bigger bottle, they get bigger as we go down. So all the pill bottles are here. They're also over on this side. So we have the smaller ones, and then again over here. And it goes down in size. And then we also have bottles for liquid medications. And again, there's some here, and some over there. So if you need to get a medication that's in a liquid form, for example, this is a whole pint, but this is a 4-ounce bottle. So if the physician orders 4 ounces, we're going to pour it from here into here. The other thing that you'll do, I do have everybody do at least one suspension. And the suspensions are here. They're powdered form. And we have to add water to them before we dispense to the patient. So over here is what we call the reconstitute. The water comes down from the top. We measure exactly what the label tells us to add and open up the valve at the bottom. Just a little squeeze, and we can measure the water very directly. If for some reason this isn't working or somebody else is using it, we can also use a graduated cylinder to measure the right amount, but it does have to be the right amount listed in there. We also have a small refrigerator. Refrigerators would hold stuff like insulin and suppositories. That's about all we have in there. You can also, as you're working, because as you can tell, that we have 4 students back here at once, maybe 2 if we're still following social distancing rules. But you can use one of these to keep all of your stuff together. So if this was our drug, our prescription, the bottle we put it in, we can keep it all together until the final check, because the pharmacist has to do the final check on anything that leaves the pharmacy. So when we have our prescription completed and filled, we're going to print 2 labels, and I don't know why there's so many labels for this one. But one label is going to go on the bottle. And then these are auxiliary labels, which means this is extra important information. They all have to go on the bottle too. And sometimes people have so many of these, we have to use a big bottle just to put all the labels on. So we want to make sure everything's nice and neat. We can put them this way, as long as they're nice and neat. Or you can even put them that way, again, as long as you're not covering up anything important. And then the other label that we're going to print is going to go on the back of the prescription. We have to keep a written record of every prescription that we have. This is an example of a transfer prescription. So if a patient is going to Walgreens and decides they want to change to CVS, the pharmacist will get on the phone, talk to each other, and write down basically a new prescription, because we have to have a paper trail. So just because they talk to each other, we have to know where to find it. And then when we've got everything done, we've got our prescription filled, it's ready, it's checked, then we're going to file the prescription here. So the C2 prescriptions, and if you notice, they're green, because in Kentucky, controlled drugs are green. They're going to be by themselves. The other controlled drugs, that one's in the wrong place. So medications like Xanax, promethazine with codeine, they can be filed back here. And then all the other medications that aren't controlled get filed here by the prescription number. So the prescription number is there on the prescription. So that if we needed to pull this prescription for whatever reason, we'd know exactly where to find it. It would be in order with the other ones. Finally, we've got the prescription ready. We got it good to go. We put it in our bins based on the patient's last name. So this is patient, last name is Guzzetti, so it's between E and H. And here's our reference books I was telling you about. We've got a couple of them. These just have brand generics in them. And I will probably print some so that you can have your own little copies. But these books work. The generic name is in the front of the book. The brand names are in the back. So if you have the brand name drug Talwin, it will tell you here that the generic for Talwin is pentacozine. Can't even talk. So let's say we'll work with these. These are tools. We have some flavoring That's just fun. Sometimes kids and adults like a different flavor. We have many other tools back here that we'll learn how to use. But that's the basics. So I hope you have fun. See you soon.